Hello, welcome to a really quick video on solving equations when we only have x on one side. I've tried to include the basic kind of things you could be asked to do in this type of question. So we've got just a basic one step where you're either dividing or adding or subtracting something, a two-step equation, one with a fraction in and one with a bracket in. That should be pretty much all you need to be able to solve your basic x on one side equation. There shouldn't be much more than this. As long as you know these kind of key skills, you can build on this to be able to solve all kinds of equations. So whenever we are solving an equation, what we are trying to do is reverse any operation that has happened to x on one side of the equation to isolate x and get x on its own so we can find out what x's value is. So in this first question, we have 2x equals 6. 2x means that x has been multiplied by 2. Now, to reverse that multiply by 2, we have to do the opposite, which is to divide by 2. We divide by 2 on both sides of the equation. Dividing by 2 on the left-hand side cancels out the 2 on the 2x, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we are left with 1x. So just x on its own. And then the other side, 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. So the first one is x is equal to 3. Just one step, really straightforward. Same with the next one. So this time x has had 3 subtracted from it. And to reverse that, and get rid of it and move it to the other side of the equation, we have to do the opposite. So the opposite of minusing 3 is adding 3. We have to do it to both sides of the equation to balance it out. Gives us x is equal to, because minus 3 plus 3 makes nothing, so we're just left with x. That's what's happened kind of here. Minus 3 plus 3 makes nothing, makes 0. X plus 0 is still just x. And then 7 plus 3 on the other side to balance it out gives us 10. So x is equal to 10. The next one along is going to have more than one step because there's two things that have happened to x on the left-hand side. X has been multiplied by 2 and then we've added 4. Now we have to reverse that in the opposite order. So we multiplied x by 2, then we added 4. So to isolate x, to get x on its own, we have to reverse that in the opposite order. So we are going to deal with the plus 4 first. The opposite of adding 4 is taking 4 away. So we minus 4 from both sides to balance the equation. So we get 2x is equal to, again, just 2x because plus 4 minus 4 makes nothing, makes 0. And then 22 minus 4 is 18. Then we have to get rid of the 2. The 2 is multiplied by x. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So divide by 2, both sides of the equation to balance it. 2x divided by 2 is just 1x. And then 18 divided by 2 is 9. So x is equal to 9. I hope I'm following so far. The key thing to remember is that we are always reversing whatever has happened to x and doing it in the opposite order. This next one, we've got x minus 3 over 5. The fraction part is divide. The opposite of dividing is multiply. That is the part we have to deal with first because this negative 3 up here is trapped inside the fraction. There's nothing I can do with it until it is free. It's escaped from that fraction. So I have to deal with the fraction part first, this divide by 5 first. The opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So I do that on both sides to balance the equation and leaves us with that x minus 3 on its own. Now it's free of the fraction. It's free. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So we have x minus 3 equals 10. Now we can deal with the minus 3 part. The opposite of minus and 3 is adding 3. So we get x is equal to 13 as our final answer. Don't be put off by the fractions, okay? All it means is divide. You just have to multiply to get rid of it. Just do the opposite. It tends to put a few people off. It tends to kind of frighten them a little bit, but there's nothing to be frightened of. You know how to multiply, you know the opposite of dividing is multiply, you know the fraction means divide. So don't let it put you off, don't let it frighten you, okay? Don't let it beat you, you're better than that. And then the last one, there's a few ways you could do this. I tend to find the most reliable way is to multiply the bracket out first. So to expand the bracket, we multiply everything on the inside by what's on the outside. So 2 times x gives us 2x, and 2 times 7 gives us 14. That is still equal to 30. And then we can solve it the same way as we've solved the other equations. So we're going to minus 14 from both sides. Plus 14 minus 14 is 0, leaving us with just the 2x. 30 minus 14 is 16. And then the 2 is multiplied by x. So I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides to do the opposite. 2x divided by 2 is 1x. And then 16 divided by 2 is 8. So my answer is x is equal to 8. So those are your real basic skills that you need to solve equations where x is only on one side of the equation. Again, they could kind of combine some of these, they could add more things in, but as long as you're remembering to work your way backwards, doing the opposite, then you can't go wrong, okay? You're always going to get the right answer. Just do it systematically, show you're working out. Please show you're working out the same way that I'm doing it. If you make a really silly mistake and you say that, like, say you're doing this question and you say that 22 minus 4 is 19 instead of 18. If you make a silly mistake like that, you can still get marks as long as you're showing you understand the method. Everyone makes mistakes with their kind of arithmetic, especially in an assessment when you're a bit stressed and you're a bit kind of on edge. Like that, everyone does that, which is why method marks are there, because we can still see that you understood how to answer the question. You know the steps to answer the question. You've just let a silly mistake get the better of you. Okay, so we want to be able to give you the marks, but to do that, you have to give us something to mark. Okay, if you've just gone straight from the question to x equals 9, and you've made a mistake, then there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to help you out and give you a mark or two. You need to show your working in order to get all of the marks, and to pick up marks if you make a mistake. Yeah, but anyway, I hope that helps. I'm going to do x on both sides next. Then we'll have a quick look at changing the subject. Yeah, that's pretty much it for algebra stuff that you guys need to know. But yeah, I hope this helps. Have a lovely day.